here with the bum BK. First time using headphones?
Sorry, you got these motherfucking fucking Panera Bread ass fucking headphones, bro. These the Office Max Rentals.
The Panera Bread ass.
That shit's free.
You on there? Yeah, you on there. All right. I got some notes, but we can get to those a little bit. You still on Instagram, dog? Jeez.
Oh, bro, I'm going on D&D. Chill out.
D&D? Dungeons and Dragons?
No, bitch, I'm not Reese.
What's your D&D?
Do not disturb.
Oh.
Yeah,
nice.
bro.
Nice. It's been a minute since we recorded.
Yeah, it's been a few months. I don't even think you put out the second pod.
Yeah, because fucking Ollie has that audio.
Ollie's holding out.
I hung out with Ollie for the first time in like months. Just the other day, I checked out his new place. It's fucking dope.
That's what I heard. Yeah, he's just a young man in love, you know.
And he's got school. Now he has school again. I think he was taking summer classes too.
Gotcha. Child. Well, at least he's going to school.
Yeah. You graduated, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was your major?
Recreation management. Forestry and recreation management.
What does that degree entail?
Literally like the easiest major in the fucking world.
Really?
It was a joke, yeah. I mean,
Damn.
I felt like I felt like I was doing like fucking phonics and shit like that.
What's that?
Just like basic gen ed shit, like learning how to like talk.
Just make sure you
like,
put those keys like right in the fucking.
Yeah, that's what I was planning on doing. But yeah, college for me was like a massive joke. I like fucked around my freshman, sophomore year. Was just partying, and then I got put on academic probation.
No way.
Yeah, bro. I had like a fucking 1.6 GPA. Like it was bad. And then my family was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, you're paying all this money to go to school, and now you're fucking off still." And I was like, "Yeah." And so then I got my shit together, and then once I got into my my major, it was like super fucking easy. Cause like gen eds were just stupid though. Like I'm not like I had to like take like a fucking chemistry class and like just all like a bunch of stupid labs and shit like that just to fill the prerequisites before you started taking your major courses. But then because I was originally business administration, but then I got kicked out of. I got kicked out of the school of business because of my GPA sophomore year. They're like, you're not getting in. So that I had to go switch it up, and I had to go pick real quick of like why or where to go. And then I had never been to Colorado or like anything before, and then I went to just like go scout other majors like with like a cumulative GPA that I could like qualify for, and then the recreation management degree was like in that, and then I saw that like it's like based out of like being like a park ranger, forest ranger, like that sort of shit. So then I like got pretty set on that, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do that. But then I probably utilized that for maybe like 3 months. I did like a woodcutting, like saw crew internship, like the summer of 2019 when I first moved out here in May. And that shit was sick. Like it was really fun, like cutting trees down and all that shit, like doing like restoration and like fire mitigation and all that stuff. But the manual labor, I was like, man, I can't do this shit. I'm in like 30 pounds of protective fucking gear, and it's 100 degrees, and I'm on a fucking 30-foot fucking incline or 30-degree incline. Like it was just a little too much. Yeah. And I wasn't getting paid, bro. I was like, bro, I gotta get a bag.
Yeah, dude, that blue collar work is tough. It's tough on your body.
Yeah, bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, shout out to all the motherfuckers that are just doing manual labor for like 50 years, bro. Their bones are just like deteriorated and just like being like hunched over, or like your knees are locked in like a certain position, or your back and all that stuff. I'm like, bro, your shit's about to be, you just get stuck like that.
Yeah. I understand why they all smoke cigarettes and drink beer.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Like, I get it.
Yeah, bro. If you're not doing manual labor, or you not a line cook, and like you just smoke cigarettes and you drink a lot of booze and like you're not doing that, like, I don't know.
Yeah, dude.
We gotta find different alternatives, different hobbies.
I do miss when I worked construction. There were parts of it that I fucking hated, but I do miss like building stuff. That was fun.
Like Legos.
Yeah. No, like pretty much the demo part sucks. Roofing sucks. But once you're, well, at least in like kitchen and bath remodels, once you're done demoing and you start like framing and then putting up drywall, that stuff's fun. But everything before that is not fun at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really ever do any. I never really did any restoration or like construction type of shit. I remember one time my dad like wanted me to go help his friend for some like money over the summer to go like lay concrete.
Yeah, I've done that.
And I'm like, bro, what the fuck am I doing, bro? Like, I'm like laying the foundation of like a building right now, and it's like I was like 19 and I didn't give it. Like I like didn't care about like anything, and I was just like just slopping it in there and like getting it all over the place and like just doing like such a shitty job. And I'm like, bro, like I understand they probably just need the extra hands, but like I actually have no idea what I'm doing. And like it was like me and the guy who like drove the cement truck there, who's like dumping the cement into the barrel or the wheelbarrow and shit. And I'm like, he's like, do you know what you're doing? I'm like, nah, man. He's like, all right, you got to like hold it like this and like blah, blah, blah. And he's like, let it like set it down and, you know, all this shit. And I'm like, bro, where's Matt at, bro? He needs, like, I don't know what I'm doing.
There is an art to concrete too.
Yeah.
And if you get it clean, it looks awesome.
Right.
But if you do a shitty job, it looks horrible.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, why are y'all like trusting me doing this right now? Like, I don't know. I mean, I got some money for that though, but that was not, you know.
Dude, you know what's crazy is I make more, I think. Well, when I was working construction, I was technically an independent contractor.
Right.
So taxes weren't taken out right away. Like I would have to pay taxes at the end of the year. So I don't know if I was making more then or now, but it feels like at least the workload now is not nearly as strenuous on my body.
Well, yeah.
And I think I'm making about the same.
Yeah, I mean, you just get, especially in the restaurant industry, I mean, it just kind of depends on where you fall at and where you serve at and the location of your business or where you work at. Because, I mean, there's motherfuckers that are serving who make, you know, like what society sees like a server making as like, you know, anybody can be a server. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to have like a fucking little small diner that gets no business. Like people see that as like, I don't know. I feel like there's just like a wide or not a wide spectrum of like the perspective of like how much money you can actually make in the industry until you actually get into it. I mean, because I never thought that.
Yeah. If you're working at a nice place 5 days a week, you're pulling money.
Oh yeah, bro. There's like, I mean, when I was working
airport,
when I was at the airport, bro, like there's people like the bartenders who work like, you know, a lot of them had like, they were older, had family, kids to take care of and all that stuff. So they worked like 5 days a week. But there's like all the bartenders made over like $120K if they worked like full time. Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah. But also at the same time, again, like you make that amount of money because it's always busy. So you're always serving, you're always making drinks, you're always running food, you know, you're always taking care of tables, like all that stuff. And there's like a few people I worked with who they were definitely like in their high 30s going into their 40s and stuff like that. And, you know, they've been in the restaurant industry their whole life. So I'm sure like to them, like they're like, this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like I made it to like the apex of restaurants
Yeah,
and
yeah,
bars to work at, making that amount of money, because it's crazy. I mean, even when I was working there, I made, working 3 days a week, I made more than I was doing at my like first corporate job.
Damn.
And that was like, for me, I was like, damn, that's crazy. I definitely missed that money, but it was definitely exhausting. Like, I remember like getting home and just all the time, like, I get home at 10. If I didn't go out and blow half of my fucking tips, going out for drinks afterwards. But if I just like went straight home, half the time I would be like so tired. I would like just fucking get into bed and just pass out on top of like all my blankets, like wake up and like at like 5 a.m. and just like, oh shit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I didn't even remember falling asleep. I was so tired.
Where would you guys go out if you're at the airport? Would you come back into the city?
No, we had like there was a few bars on the airport like campus outside of the terminals that would like stay open until midnight. So
okay,
and we were done by 10.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we would get off at 10, and then we would go drink for 2 hours, and then usually it might turn into something bigger or whatever, but that would be on like a fucking Tuesday night or a fucking, it's crazy because like then you get to Wednesday, Thursday, and you're like, oh, it's like the weekend, but like Tuesday's like, what are we doing?
It's your Friday.
But, right.
What was corporate life like?
I mean, my experience was pretty short. It was only about a year and a half, but yeah, I worked fully remote, and it was like coming straight out of COVID. It was like I got hired summer of 2020, and then so that was like right in the middle of COVID.
Right, COVID,
yeah. And then I think I left that job September of 2021, and so a little bit less than a year and a half, but I was fully remote position, and which was nice at the time because it was like nobody wanted to leave home anyways. So at least you're like at home and you're working and you don't got to leave or, any sort of thing like that. But it was really slow for me. I just like, you have to be a certain type of personality to buy into like a sales position or like customer success and stuff like that. And I didn't mind the customer success part, but when it came to like actual sales and shit like that, like in my mind, I'm like, bro, we're selling like a bullshit product. Like the product is very necessary for business owners or anything like that. I worked for a credit card processing company. Okay. So like a company like similar to Toast.
Okay.
So like if you wanted to process, credit cards of, all the brands and stuff like that, you use the company to do that.
Gotcha. Okay.
But they just covered processing. But like companies similar to like Toast now, they use they do the like installment of the terminals, and you can go through them for the processing. But the company I worked for is just processing, and then you contracted out terminals from different companies that like made the terminals and stuff like that. And that was like, so this is right when like Toast was really coming up, and all the restaurants who were like my clients, stuff like that, were like, they're like, we're going to Toast. Like they offer lower processing rates and they have their own terminals. Like I shouldn't have to call anytime something goes wrong, call you guys for a processing question and then just get transferred over to the company who we got the terminals from.
Yeah.
Because it's all separate. It was like, it was a really bad work environment for me because I got thrown into a position, which is crazy because one of my best friends, she's the one who got me the job.
Yeah.
Liza, who you met last week. She got me the job. Yeah. She was at Fox.
Fox, okay.
So she got me the job for a new team that they're bringing on for the customer success team. And I was chilling. Like I was literally just like calling in on clients and being like, hey, making courtesy calls on the service. Like if you need anything, I can be your liaison to like anybody you need to get to, like those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And I was chilling, but then like, I think it was like January or February, they laid off a bunch of people. And one of the people was Liza. And then they basically gave me moved me into Liza's job.
Damn.
And Liza, I remember when she first started the job, like a few years back, she was like, oh yeah, we got trained for like at least a whole month, like hands-on, like in the office, blah, blah, blah. We got trained for like 3 days and not even like real, like 3 8-hour days. It was like 3 days on like 1 hour sessions a day. And me and like 5 other guys who were on the team, the previous team, it was basically so they could bring us into a sales position and then we would be making less because of like all of the people that they laid off are making money off commissions and stuff. Like they had to make like budget cuts.
Yeah.
So they kind of just fucking threw us in. Like it was bad. I had like a terrible experience. Like, bro, I was like, when it came to like very technical questions and stuff like that, like I had no idea what the answers were. Like I didn't know how to answer or navigate any issues or like have any sort of like knowledge of the products that we had, because they just were like, okay, like you guys are ready for the phones, because they just needed people on the phones to be in the call queue and all that stuff. And I just like remember I would like call my manager like every like 3, or like we would do like weekly check-ins and stuff like that. And like every fucking check-in, I was just like, dude, I am just not getting this. Like I'm not doing a good job. Like I'm not doing the company a good service because like I just like am not in this. Like I can't, like I was completely fine in the customer success role because like I can just be a people person in that role. But then when it came to like getting people to re-sign contracts or renegotiating rates and like stuff like that, I'm looking at this shit and I'm like, yeah, that is bullshit that you're paying that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like you can't do that because you got to maximize profits for the company and stuff. And yeah, it was not it. Cause once, when I quit that job, I like took like 3 months off. And I was like, dude, I gotta find something new. Like, this is not it. I can't, like, I'm not a sales guy. I can't work for like a big company just because I'm not like bought in that way of like, just like a go-getter in that way. But it's crazy now because, excuse me, when it comes to like selling my artwork and stuff like that, like I don't mind that because I fuck with my art. You know what I'm saying? Like I like, it's my product. And I know that, like, you know, I'm not trying to, like, scam anyone out of some bullshit business or anything like that. Or, like, I'm not going to be selling a product that I, like, don't feel, like, educated about or uneducated about, you know.
You're more, you know what, every in and out of your own art, you know. There is a sleazy part of sales, though, which that's one of the biggest issues I think I face with Lonely Cowboy and tattooing is like I hate like trying to sell, you know.
Yeah.
It just feels wrong.
It is part of it though, you know. You kind of have to do it. You know, sometimes I feel a little pushy about, you know, like I just got the collection prints at the beginning of August for that art show that I had in Rhino, and you know, the stuff that didn't sell, people all the time had always reached out about the collection, just like complimenting on it and all that type of stuff. But a big thing, the reason why I did it was because that was what people wanted, was like an affordable option to my original work. So I was like, all right, let's do the prints. And so I've sold a handful of prints. There's only, you know, a few left. Which has been great. But even like making the initial text of like texting like 20 people basically in the past who have like said, you know, they would love to support and purchase work in their their budget means and stuff like that. You know, even like that is weird, but also at the same time, like people also like forget, you know, they forget about your work, or because again, like with social media, you're so drowned in with whatever your feed is, your discovery feed and all that stuff. And if it's like looking at art or other artists and stuff like that, that's all it's going to be. So it gets watered down at that point. But again, like that's sales, you know, there is like that business side of the art that you have to like push, not necessarily like push onto people, but push for yourself, because how else do people gain awareness of your stuff? Like, you know, for you that like, you know, you've done a lot of tattoos on yourself. You've done a tattoo on me and a handful of other people. and I know you've been like posting like photo dumps of your designs and your life and all that stuff, which I think is sick. But also at the same time, like people might just see it as a clothing design or a concept or a concept just in general that you put on your iPad, as opposed to like this is available like for me to tattoo on you and stuff like that. But again, also sometimes people like that's just like not everybody's vibe. Like on Instagram is to like promote like sales in that way, just like more so just to use that as like an archive.
Instagram's fucking weird, dude. When I first started Lonely Cowboy, I texted and DM'd hundreds of people.
Right.
And I remember doing that, and it fucking worked for the first drop, but it didn't work any other time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, dude, like people literally just, if they get one garment, like that's good.
No, for sure.
And that that's how it goes. Even like small things like prints and, anything artistic, honestly, like you buy one thing, but that's the thing is it kind of works hand in hand with the networking. It's like, okay, well, somebody does have something now, so it's in their house or they wear it out. That could possibly generate to a sale or multiple sales or something like that. And that's what I always hope. But I don't ever rely anymore, at least, because I had when I first started selling my artwork, I was very, I just thought because I just knew a bunch of people who supported my work that people were always going to buy something and stuff like that. It's just not the case.
No.
Especially like repeating customers and stuff like that. I've been fortunate that there have been a few people or a handful of people who have bought multiple pieces of my work, which is like a great feeling. But at the same time, that's just a blessing. That is very, like, I'm very grateful for that, that they did do that, because I also do know a lot of people, like in the past, I was like doing like very small, like digital prints, and I was like selling them for like digital prints as in prints of my digital work that I made on Procreate on my iPad. And I sold those for like, like $40, $50. They weren't big or anything, and they sold, and I sold a bunch of them. I think I like, my first order, I had like an order of like 36, and those all sold, and I sold all of those for like $50.
Damn.
And then I did like a second order and they were like a smaller version around like last Christmas, and I got like 30 of them, and I sold them for like $25 or $30 each, and like those all sold. I think like there had been definitely been a few that I like just gave away for whatever.
Were you printing those on canvas
paper? Yeah, that's the ones and those like came out super well, but it was definitely on the more pricier side for sure when it comes to like budgeting and stuff like that. And especially, like another thing too, I was just kind of experimenting on what I wanted to do for that. And because they were digital pieces, the reason why I wanted to do them print them on canvas paper was because I was like, I want to give it like that real feel that kind of feels like a real painting. And then like with these, the collection prints that I just did, those are just on like a thick poster paper.
Okay.
Kind of.
How do you take pictures of the paintings?
So I went through a whole crazy process with this, dude. It was wild. Like just go back and forth with the company. So at first I sent them like photo pictures.
Yeah.
And then they printed the copies and whatever. And then I got them. And they look like shit. Like they were all like, color faded, blown out. Like they looked really bad. But then the guy was like, oh yeah, like this is what happens when you get sent over photo files and stuff like that. And I was like, well, like I got like 3 prints of each painting, like 11 total canvases. Like you didn't think that like I don't know what I'm doing. Like I don't know what you specifically need. Like I'm new to all this stuff. So like you didn't think to maybe like give me a call and be like, hey, like these are a little blown out. Could you potentially send me like a digital file? Could you send me, all that stuff?
Like a PNG?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think like the top three are like PNG files, JPEG, and then a TIFF file. And I didn't know this. Well, let me get back to what before I get off topic about the files. But yeah, so we got them. I looked at them. They look like shit. So then I've done business with this company before, and so then I messaged the GM because it's a small business and stuff like that, and. He was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry about that." Very understanding. Just explain the whole situation. That like, hey, this looked really bad. And he's like, "Can you bring him back for me so I can look at him?" He looked at him. He's like, "Yeah, this is not doable." And then he asked me to bring the canvases in to scan. So I was like, "Okay, great." So you've seen the canvases; they're massive.
Yeah,
they have a 1.5 inch height, so like they're like that thick. So basically to like load all my canvases up from my like apartment to my car out in the street and all that stuff, that takes like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it's multiple trips. The canvases are massive, all that stuff. So then I haul them all the way over to the print store because they told me to bring them in to scan. And then they're like, "Oh, these are stretched. Like we need them like flat. Like if they go through the scanner, it can only be a maximum like 3/4 of an inch high." So I'm like, oh my fucking God. So got to take all that shit back, whatever. And then he was like, "Well, is there a way you can like potentially get these in a digital file and then we can scan them?" And I was like, "All right, well, what I'm going to do is take a picture of them on Procreate. And then, on Procreate, you can like take a picture of, if you want a desired palette, you can use the camera.
Yeah.
And then it'll like scan all the colors you used of like, say you like did a picture or took a picture of the wall. I'll show it to you if you've never done it before, but it'll literally scan all the colors. Like I took a picture of my painting, scanned all the colors, and then I uploaded the original or the photo, and then I just traced over everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn. How long did that take?
To finish all of them, probably say like 3 hours. Yeah, a lot of grunt work. It was like, fuck, this is really annoying. But honestly, like, dude, they came out like I did it identical. Yeah, it's you're literally just tracing it over.
Yeah.
And now moving forward, if I want to do another drop, like a second edition and stuff like that, which I plan to, now I have those forever.
Yeah.
But back to the files. So like for like scanning or printing and stuff like that, there's like. The three popular ones are JPEG, PNG, and then the TIFF file. So apparently every time, whether it's a PNG or a JPEG file, you have to, what's it called? Or every time you open it or close it, the resolution of the file, it like decreases. It gets worse.
Yeah.
The more you like open and not like send it or like email it or share like whatever that file is. Every time it gets opened or downloaded, the file quality gets worse every time. But the TIFF file is like the
Holy Grail.
Yeah, the Holy Grail, like the really nice one. So, and I like read. I just like read a bunch of articles about that and all that stuff. So now moving forward, if I do any sort of printing or sharing the file in general, like posting on like Instagram, if it's anything digital, it's always going to be a TIFF.
Yeah. I've always used PNG.
Yeah. I've always been either PNG or JPEG. I think PNG is better for printing than a JPEG, and then like a JPEG is just like a good digital file for like sharing online, and it's like very common. So
I wanted to get a few of my designs on posters. Like I really wanted to get this one on a poster.
Yeah, that's cool.
But so what I use for like all the Lonely Cowboy stuff is I can get posters, but it costs like $35 for the poster and then $35 for shipping. I was like, I don't want to charge people $35 shipping for a poster,
Is that like through like a third party?
Yeah. So the only way around it is to get inventory.
Yeah, right.
So
Well, I mean, I could reference you to like the place that I go to because they would definitely do that on poster, you know, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job, and I don't think their prices were like too bad.
Is it in Denver?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kat told me you could go to FedEx and print posters. I don't know how good they would be.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure. I just like, I don't know. Like this place is just, that's all they do. It's just screen printings for commercial businesses, artists, like, you know, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're great, and they do a good job. Besides that one guy, that guy like had me like, I'm like, bro, I'm looking at this, and he was like trying, like they're so like color faded, and like, you know, you could see like the light splashing down on the paintings, like glares and all that stuff. And I'm like, bro, you can't like he was like trying to justify with me that like they looked good, and like half of like the print was just like faded out with like white light, you know, faded in every direction. I'm just like, dude, this is not good. Like, I can't take these. Like, I couldn't sell these to anyone. Like that, it literally looks like I printed them off like fucking like a cheap, like the fucking cheapest printer from like 1955. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, you could. My dad used to work at a art gallery, or he was basically the one that sold art for artists.
Yeah, he's like a art
dealer, basically.
Art dealer, yeah.
But he would have a room in their warehouse with like the white backdrop, pretty much just white ceiling, white floor, white walls, bunch of lights, and a nice camera. So you just get up on the ladder and take pictures down.
Right.
And those turned out all right, but they weren't printing them. They were just for website.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Which, like all of my art on my website is literally taken off a camera.
Yeah.
You know, it's, yeah.
What, I had this question on here. Is there any avenue of creativity you would want to do besides painting, or like painting jackets? Basically, besides painting or using Procreate, have you ever thought about anything else just to like get a change of pace, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would, like, I've worked with, you know, like, are you saying like painting as a whole, like all mediums of paint?
Yeah,
or just
so
like acrylic, because that's what I just mainly use.
Yeah, all like take out painting. Is there anything else creatively that you've thought about?
Yeah, I mean, I've like thought of, I don't know, I would like to get into working, what the hell is the term for it? Like working with like fabrics and like interior shit, like interior design.
Ooh.
Yeah, I would love to like learn all sorts of like materials, like furniture, like that sort of thing. Just because I feel like the artwork that I do on canvas, like especially like the color blocking stuff, like I feel like that stuff would like look really cool on like a wooden chair with like the seat cushion. Yeah. And then the cushion is like the stitched pattern of like the type of like style that I, you know, paint.
Yeah. Dude, you should make some rugs.
Yeah.
I would get a like rug for sure.
Tufting rugs is fucking sick. One of my buddies got into it for a little bit, and I don't really know what happened. I think he just stopped doing it. But yeah, it's cool. Sorry, go ahead.
You know that one skull cowboy design you have?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That on a rug would be sick.
Yeah, that one would be sweet. Yeah, I love that painting so much. It's like sitting out on display outside of my studio.
Is there any painting that you have, or like do you have like a top 3 of your own work?
Yeah. Versions. That's a 36 by 36 part of the collection, and it has a really good palette. It's like got a light blue, royal blue, like a prism violet, and then a really light purple, and pink. It's like 3 eyes, or like 3 eyes on one side, one big eye on the left, and then it's a face, and then the tongue's out. And I just like it because like the teeth are really straight, and that one for sure is my favorite out of the collection. Probably Longing for a Home, the Cowboy Skull one.
That one's so sick.
I made that one in January of this year. Versions was June of last year. And then, I don't know, this last piece I just did that I finished yesterday, I think that might be up there too. I really like that one. I was looking at it last night before I went to bed on my phone, the photos I took earlier yesterday. And I was like, holy crap, like there's so much in here that is just like beautiful.
Are you going to sell that?
Yeah, I mean, I plan to.
I can, if you send me a picture, I'll drop it in there.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah. But yeah, we like, I don't know. It's crazy. Maybe it's just because of the mushrooms or something. But I was like looking at that piece, and I think it was just kind of like so like personal to the last piece I just finished. It was so like personal to like me. It was like a whole flashback of like just like a perspective that I had like for like since high school.
Yeah.
Of my interpretation, and then it really blended like both styles of art that I've really been experimenting with that are pretty different, but it's all just like in that piece all together, which is very different from what I've done. It's always kind of just been one or the other, and I blended both of them in there. So yeah, I felt good about this one. And moving forward, I don't know, I think I'm just kind of on a creative high right now of producing work, but we'll see. Another thought I just had recently too when doing this painting was how long the process takes. And I never questioned the time that it took my art. But I don't know, something just hit me like last week. I'm like, damn, bro, like this shit is like taking a long time. Like there's so much to do. There is a lot to finish, and there's a lot to touch up, and like, you know, just all those small things.
Yeah. There it is.
Excuse me. But yeah, just, yeah. But I've also realized, I'm like, dude, I hate working on small canvases. Like I have like I started this 16 by 20 just for fun. I think it's just because I've just been doing a shit ton of small canvases for commissions in the last like 5-6 months. And I just like being able to like fully extend my arms and like reach like to the top, or, you know, if I'm in my chair, like that has like an adjustable height, like going all the way to the top or the bottom and stuff like that. And yeah, I just think like covering space is my thing. I definitely, you know, I know it's still like paint related, but, you know, I would love to get back into doing some murals where they're like actually seen, because I did those ones in Seattle and I haven't really worked on anything that large of a scale, which I do have an opportunity in Boulder to do one, like just in their little art district scene. And I just keep forgetting to like drive out there and go do it. I also need to like
should do it.
Go buy spray paint and stuff like that to go like start that. But
damn, you'd use spray paint for it?
Yeah, I would still use like paint and a brush for the lines, but for the color filling and stuff like that, yeah, I would just use paint or spray paint. It's just, it saves so much time. And yeah, like the Montana 94 cans, you know, I'm not an expert by any means, or I would even say like skilled with spray painting, but the 94s are a great one to start out with, just because the pressure of the can's really low and you don't really have to like necessarily control it, especially if you're just using it for colors as well. But yeah, I got to experiment using spray paint in Seattle, which is really nice. And I mean, it always came out really nice. Like I think the work that I did out there, you know, turned out really well. But yeah, it's just been a minute, and it's kind of like an anxiety. You know, you think you forget something because you haven't done it in a while, or maybe looking stupid or something like that. Honestly, I think that's what it is. But why I've kind of been like pushing it back so much is because I'm like I just don't want to go stand out there, and because it's like, you know, I know it'd be a great networking tool and all that stuff, but like where the fence is at, where I can go do the mural at, is like in the like Boulder's like main art district area. Damn. So it's like, bro, I would be like around a bunch of people, but then I'm also in my head of like, what if someone sees me and they're like, what the fuck is he doing, or something like that. But it's like, I know how to do it, you know. It's just like
it's all
just
in
like,
your mind.
Yeah, it's just a mental. So
there's this one company that they opened up like this Airbnb in the desert, and they decorated the Airbnb in the style of the company. And they did like, if this was the wall for the Airbnb, they had their TV centered and just a bunch of little black and white, almost like a tattoo flash on a wall. Cool. And I really want to do that. Like if when I buy a house or something, that's for sure going to be something I do, because I can't do it on this, you know.
Right, yeah.
They take everything out of my security deposit.
Yeah, 100%.
But I like that little the tattoo flash design on a wall. I think that'd be fucking dope.
Yeah, 100%.
Want me to teach you how to tattoo?
Yeah.
No, I should not be teaching people.
Yeah, I don't know.
I take that back.
I mean, I would like to get into tattooing. Like, I think that would be another cool skill to get into. And, you know, from the last 3 years, like, you know, that's what basically all three of my tattoo artists have said. Like, why don't you just like get into tattooing? Yeah. You know, but again, I don't know, performance anxiety. Yeah. You know, like that sort of thing.
Dude, it is real. Yeah. It is real.
Yeah. Permanent piece.
Permanent piece. And it's like, if you don't know what you're doing, like you could fuck someone up.
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's not many responsibilities when you're making mistakes on like canvas or, you know, on an iPad, you know, like on a human being. Yeah. It's like, holy fuck.
It took me a while to get over the inflicting pain on someone. Yeah. I didn't like that.
I mean, it's not pain though, you know? It's like, yeah, it is painful, but it's not like you're like hurting someone intentionally to like harm, like put harm on them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but you sit like a rock during tattoos, so that's a little different.
I mean, it still fucking hurts, but like also I'm like very aware. It's like, all right, well, you're gonna feel something. Like it's literally a fucking needle's driving into your skin a billion times in like 1 second, you know? So that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know. There's definitely been some times like during my tattoo experiences that I've been like, holy fuck, like what the fuck am I doing? You know? Yeah, bro. But also at the same time, it's like, okay, well, 30 minutes later and then it's done and you're like, all right, well, I don't ever have to get that area like ever again. So, you know.
Dude, I saw this one dude on Instagram. He was featured on Inked Mag, and he had 3 or 4 full body suits. So like he had a bodysuit, then he'd get it all covered again. He did that 3 or 4 times. Jesus. The third time he blacked out everything. Yeah. And then the next time, I don't know how it's possible after a blackout, but they re-tattooed everything into designs.
Did they like use like white ink?
No, they used black ink on top of the black ink, and then they tossed in like some red, some blue. Like,
damn,
it was fucking gnarly.
That looks sick.
MGK just got
pretty
much fully blacked out.
Yeah,
which is nuts. He said it took 70 hours.
Yeah, dude. Like, because he had a bunch of like color tat. I mean,
he was fully.
Yeah,
yeah,
not good tattoos. Probably a good thing he got blacked out. But I've seen like people with like blacked out sleeves, and then once they black it out, then they do like white ink. over the
it.
black. Yeah, and I'm sure that the pop of the white doesn't stay, long.
You have to get up close to it to see the details.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you can see it, but you can't like see it.
Yeah. I wonder if tattooing, I feel like tattooing is kind of shifting back to more traditional.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just because we're surrounded by a bunch of people who like traditional art.
That's true. That's a good point.
I might be a little fucking biased, but to be honest with you, like, I don't know. If you don't have like traditional work or like, it doesn't matter what the line is, like fine line or bold.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I just like realism and stuff like that. I just can't. I just don't like it.
I think it's very possible that a tattoo can be too detailed and too perfect.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people who get like portraits and stuff like that, like, yeah, it looks really nice, but also at the same time, like that thing like already like exists and is like a real person or like a real, like, or it's a real thing. Like we can see that with our eyes. I don't know. I've just always like in my mind, all of my tattoos, like, I love the fact that they don't look real. Like this isn't like it's a creative concept. It's not like it's like
you can't go out and get that thing or see that thing.
Yeah. Right. Like getting this traditional sun compared to like, what if I got like a fucking realism sun?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
yeah.
like, well, I can look up in the fucking sky and see the sun. You know what I'm saying? Or I can watch a TV show or go watch the sunset. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like those sorts of things, in my opinion, are like, I can't vibe with that. You know? And,
how's the new studio coming?
Studio is going really well. I'm really happy I got it. It was a long time overdue for sure. But I think it's just good timing as well. It gets me out of the house and makes me focus a lot more just being in my own space. Like I'm literally just enclosed and, it's a smaller space. It's, about 120 square feet. But, I don't need much more. I don't need anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, I'm really happy that I invested into it and, going into it is, every day is just like or any day that I do go to the studio, I just feel very refreshed and very comfortable. Just at my apartment, it's, mixing home and the comfort of my home with work, just, it gets a little too much. And I would rather just be comfortable and chill and game or, not paint.
Yeah. Do you think, leading into another question, but also tying into the studio, so you're going on a trip to the Philippines soon.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a sec. But when you come back, do you think you're going to get a place where you're going to live that might have a little bit more square footage for you to paint? Or are you going to try and find a place to live and then get a studio again?
I think, honestly, I'd probably want to keep the studio life.
Separate?
I like I like the structure of just like knowing that, like it's like more accountability on myself to like get out of the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I felt like when I, this last year when I was like doing my art full time and I, like, oh, let's just walk into the living room and just start painting and all that stuff, as opposed to like, well, how about like, let's get out of the house. Like, in order to get out of the house, you need to get ready for the day. Like, take a shower, brush your teeth, like do all those sorts of things. And not saying like I don't do that every day, but like just in the sense of, well, if you wait all day and like you're taking your time, well, then you're wasting, you got to commute over there. You got to get to the studio, put it work, and then you eventually have to come back to like, go home and like eat dinner and stuff like that. So for me, it's just been like, all right, like get up, like I wake up early anyways, but there's a lot of times where I'll literally just wake up and be like laying around in my bed for like an hour and a half and like doing nothing. And when it's like now recently, it's been like, all right, well, get up, get your priorities straight, and then
get to the studio so you can put in some hours.
Yeah.
And I've noticed with myself, like the days that I've gone for like 8 to 9 hours to the studio compared to the days I've only gotten like 4 hours. For me, like 4 hours isn't enough, you know, like in the space, like where my head is at right now, like feeling as creative as I am right now, like 4 hours isn't enough. But if I get there at 10 a.m. as opposed to 2 p.m., you know what I'm saying? Like, it's fucking 4 hours of like, my mind is fresh. I'm like fully energized. My batteries are charged like from the day because I haven't done anything. Or if I like chose, you know, like I think it was even yesterday to finish up the piece that I did.
Is it finished?
Yeah, it's done.
Nice.
So like that only was I knew I only had like 2.5 hours or something like that of like finishing it. So that was no big deal. But I got there. I had to wait around because I had to do laundry. Like I needed to catch up on laundry. Yeah. So, you know, that's like 2 hours. But again, like I kind of like laid around for like my first hour of being up. But then it was like, well, you still need to get up and then you still need to go do your laundry. But you have to wait till it's all done so you can fold it and all that stuff. Yeah. So then I was like kind of sitting there, like sitting there like at my place for like an hour, like kind of twiddling my thumbs because I'm like, fuck. Like I'm waiting on the laundry to be done so I can leave, just so I can get that out of the way. But again, I knew the painting wasn't going to, like to finish the painting, it wasn't going to take long. But again, when I did notice when I got there though, just where my brain was at, I was like, God, dude, it's already like, I think I got over there like 12:31 or something like that, you know? And again, like that 2 hours, like I try to get there at 10. Yeah. Like the 10 is when I'm most productive because then if I get there at 10, I'll stay there till like 6 p.m. or whatever, you know? And I have been good about like packing like snacks and lunch, like stuff like that. So I don't necessarily have to leave. But yeah, it's been nice. You know, it's like, it's just like my own little space. Like, I don't know. I've like invited a few people to like come check it out just through the excitement of it. Yeah. But I mean, to be honest with you, like, I'm just kind of like, this is my shit. Yeah. You know? Like we can kick it at my house, whatever. Yeah. But like, this is like where I can just like really fucking lock in and, you know.
It's the dojo.
Yeah, it's the dojo. Like this is my shit. Like this is my set. I'm here. Like everything. It's so nice to just like everything stays put. I don't have to like keep moving around shit to like, you know, if I'm like cleaning my living room or cleaning my bedroom, well, sometimes I would paint in there and stuff like that. Like just moving stuff in and out, like just the constant, just like shuffling of all of my art stuff. Now I don't have to do that. Like it's all like I have a table. It's got all my paint and all my brushes and all that stuff. You know, I have my clothing rack on the other side. I brought my couch over there. And then I have like a whole like long wall that I can paint on. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's really nice. It's been, you know, super chill. I'm like really thankful that I decided to choose like Reinvest because I could have just fucking blew all that money and just been like happy with the art sales that I had for the show in August and like that was it. But then I realized I'm like, you know, again, back to the Philippines, like, you know, the goal is like, yeah, I'm leaving. I am leaving mid-November. So we need like, there are things that I want to check off the list painting wise. Cause like, you know, when I'm in the Philippines, I know I'm going to definitely bring my iPad. So I'll definitely be able to do some digital work and who knows, you know, I could find some canvas and whatever there. But my goal at the Philippines is not, you know, to be painting. Like I want to like draw inspiration. Like I'm literally going back to my family's roots and I'm like about to meet like my whole like Filipino like bloodline.
That's crazy.
It's so wild. Yeah. Like, you know, it's like the way I've been thinking about that recently is like, damn, like these people are like, we share blood, like DNA together. But like, I have no idea who any of these people are. They speak a completely different language. Yeah. Like they live a completely different world. Like, you know, I don't think Philippines is third world anymore, but it's definitely like second world.
There are some places.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. there's definitely some places in the Philippines that are like, when I was there, dude, that was the biggest culture shock out of all the countries I went to. The Philippines was the most gnarly for sure. Just so much, and it's weird because it's just pockets.
Right.
Of like when you go to Cebu City, you can go to one of like the biggest fucking malls you've ever seen, you know, and then you go to a different island and there's nothing.
Like nothing.
Yeah.
Jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
wild.
I'm like very, just going in that experience, like very open-minded and just like, in a sense, like curious, there's definitely like a fear of just the unknown. Like, I don't know what to fucking expect. Like, it's definitely going to be like very different. But from what my Lola, my grandma, what my Lola has been telling me is that like, the house that they built out there is very like first world.
Yeah.
And like they have the necessities in the sense of like, yeah, we don't have like everything that you have in America, but there is, that comfort in them.
Yeah, I'm excited for you, dude. I'm excited to hear all about it when you come back.
Yeah. Again, I just, I don't really have any obligations or anything like that or commitments of any sort right now. That's a big thing too. A goal, heading into before I leave in November as well, is there's a lot of cool opportunities here in the Colorado area that I'm going to apply for. And those, the deadlines are like coming up in the next month and a half, but then like the jury through your application and all that sort of stuff, like that takes like 2 months.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So like even hearing if they got accepted and stuff like that, like I would probably be back here when
by the time. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Or like, again, with their service out there and stuff like that, like, it's all contacted through email and stuff like that. So and it's so crazy, man. Cause I always, when it comes to applying for like artistic opportunities, you apply for it and it's such a stressful process of doing all that. And then you just forget about it because the shit takes so fucking long. And then you get an email whether the opportunity got accepted or they denied it and they went elsewhere and stuff like that. And then I'm at that point, I'm like, oh fuck, like I'm about to get paid, or like, oh, I forgot about that. I forgot that shit even happened. You know what I'm saying? Because you just kind of keep moving forward after that of like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And all that stuff. But yeah, we'll see though. Yeah, I'm really excited to get out there. It's going to be really cool.
That flight out there is not going to be fun.
Yeah, I think
hate to tell you that. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like 19 or 22 hours or some shit like that, bro. I'm like, holy fuck.
Are you going to fly out of LA?
I think Chicago, because my family's in Illinois.
So you're going Chicago straight?
Yeah, to like Japan.
Damn.
I think it's Osaka or something like that.
Yeah.
And then from Osaka, then you fly to, I think we'll fly to Mindanao, which is like one of the southern islands, but it's like this big island.
Yeah.
Down there.
I flew into Hong Kong.
Yeah, or maybe, it might have been Hong Kong, yeah.
In Hong Kong was that airport, dude. It was, I forget when, I think there was something going on in China when I was in Hong Kong. Some sort of like civil dispute.
Okay.
And
but Hong Kong's Japan, though.
No, Hong Kong's China.
Oh, damn.
Come on, bro.
I don't know, man.
That's closer to your homeland than mine.
I'm Filipino, fam. I don't know nothing about nothing else. And I barely know anything about my shit, so. I'm an American braid boy.
Dude, I would love to go to Japan to see the tattoo scene there.
Yeah, one of my tattoo artists, Mo, she went out there for like a trip for like 2-3 weeks, but she like started her stomach out there by some like famous Japanese traditional artist.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't think she finished it because, it's the fucking stomach.
Yeah.
I think she was like getting like a whole stomach piece done.
Damn.
Like a dragon or something. But yeah, which is like, I'm like, bro, that's sick.
But now you just gotta go fly back out to Japan. I guess it's just another reason to get back out there soon to go get that finished.
Yeah, dude. My one buddy who works in the tattoo industry, he does like videography work for a bunch of different tattoo companies. He just interviewed this one guy that flies out to Japan pretty often to get tattooed by this one specific artist, and he was saying that dude has spent over $100,000 on like flights and tattoos.
Oh yeah,
it's just insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. So wild.
100K on your body.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the most valuable thing you can invest in if you're into tattoos, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of materialism. I guess, I don't know, would you say tattoos is materialism?
I don't think so, because it's a commitment. Like, it's on you forever, you know?
Right.
It's not like your tattoo's going to fade.
Yeah.
Like, you're paying for a permanent piece of you.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. You know, you said earlier, you brought up about how you think like traditional tattoos are back in.
Not back in. I'm just saying I think it's, you brought up a good point. Like, we're kind of surrounded by it in Denver.
Yeah.
I think that the bolder tattoos are becoming more popular than fine line in a way, because fine line had a huge fucking boom,
right
and maybe I'm just not seeing as many, but
it's weird, man, because like I 100% know where you're coming from as well, and like I don't have any fine line or anything like that, but I swear like in the last like year and a half I've heard like multiple people, like, you know, it's come to people's attention that when it comes to like longevity of tattoo quality, that like fine line will eventually like fade away. And this, not like obviously fully fade away, but in this terms of quality compared to like bold line work, like the bold line is going to stick a lot harder than what it will like just from the aging of skin and stuff like that, which, you know, I always knew from the start that I always wanted bold traditional. I have a lot of friends who have fine line, like, you know, yourself as well. Yeah. And I think it looks cool, but I am just so like even the tattoo you did on my leg, like that is by far the thinnest line work that I have out of like all of my pieces.
Let me see it. See, that's crazy, because I mean, this is an 11.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I knew what it was going to come out. Yeah. You know, and I don't have any issues with that. I love it. But like, I just knew moving forward, or like when I first started, I was like, it's going to be like one, like everything is going to be meshed all in the same. Yeah. But also I think bold traditional and like fine line traditional, like it meshes really well too, you know, depending on, you know, your placements and stuff like that. But yeah, my friend and I last Saturday, we're having a conversation about whether it's like style tattoos, you know, being a creative and all that stuff, that just kind of, it just kind of seems that, like where we are in Denver, opportunity wise and stuff like that. And maybe, you know, just for me being a little bit ignorant and new to like networking my artwork and like knowing who to talk to and things like that. But I just feel like in my realm of like the small networking I have had with people, it kind of seems that the community is a little like gatekeeper-ish.
What do you mean?
Just like in the way that like people are very like selfish of their opportunities. Oh. It's like, I'm not like trying to like get the same exact opportunity you're having, but I'm just wanting to see like, hey, how did you come about this? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I feel like I've never, you know, 9 times out of 10, it's always kind of been like just like talk to somebody. And it's like, well, like,
who the fuck are you talking to?
Yeah, right. And it's like, I'm not about to ask you that because I can already tell like you're like, you know, not trying to like give answers or anything like that. And like, because I get it, like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we are all like pretty money motivated and stuff like that. So, you know, it might take away the opportunity for you. like it's like a competition thing, you know what I'm saying? Like how many more opportunities, like I need these, and like this is what I can't give you, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. And so like that was just kind of a short conversation, but then the people who want to be a creative but like don't like actually like put any like work into it. Like they want like the status of being an artist or like a producer or like all that stuff. Like, cause I got like a lot of homies who are like, and you know, I'd speak for myself too, who are like really like 10 toes deep on their work and their craft and stuff like that. But then, you know, the environment though, or not even like the environment that you surround yourself in, but just kind of like the overall community is like everybody's trying to be somebody. Like everybody wants to be like a creative and stuff like that. But like, you know, being a creative isn't just like Instagram flexing and shit like that and like posting and like, you know, you doing this. It's like that shit's like real work. Like honestly, I'm at a point where I fucking hate posting. You know what I'm saying? Like I hate that stuff because like I'm just like drawn into like what I'm doing. You know, like I'm drawn into being in the studio. Like I'm drawn into like being locked in for like 10 hours and like not talking to anybody, you know, like that sort of thing. And then when it's time for me to post about it, I'm like, bro, like I just put in like fucking 14 hours to this piece, you know, I put in fucking 9 hours yesterday. I just put in 5, you know what I'm saying? Like the day before, like all those sorts of things. And by the time when it's time to like post like content about your work and stuff like that, I'm like, bro, ain't nobody reading this shit anyways, man. Like I'm gonna just post it. Like, you know, it's like people want the, I don't know. I just feel like through my observations, it's like, bro, everybody wants to be this. Yeah. But like I haven't, you know, seen like what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like where's the archive at? Where's the like show me the portfolio. Like let's see this shit, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Going back to your point about people wanting to gatekeep. I've always thought about it like there's this one picture of Kendrick. I don't know if it's from like a music video scene or a cameo he had in something, but he says, I hope all my dogs make it, even if it's before me. Yeah. And I relate to that heavy because I think if you are grounded in yourself, like you want your friends to win.
Hell yeah.
You know?
Hell yeah. Like dude, I've tried to like involve a lot of friends in my art journey.
And it only helps you too.
That's what I'm saying.
Like if you help others, karma's real. It'll come around.
But like I can't have this just be like a fucking one like conversation setting. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I get the, you know, outpouring love and support all the time from people, you know, but like, hey, like, I know like people who aren't necessarily creative and things like that, but you also have like other things that can benefit me or you, and you want to be a part of like something like, well, I can roll the rug out for you. We can like walk together on this. But if you're not, again, like we're talking like commitment of like,
if you're not putting in that work.
Right. Yeah. You got to put in that work on your end as well in order to like keep this shit going. Because, you know, for me, it's like, I don't have shit to gatekeep, bro. Like I want all my homies to be involved and things like that. Like that's, you know, it'd be great. Like I've told multiple friends all the time, and I'm sure I've told you about it. But like, dude, like I can't like do this shit on my own. Like I don't want to really.
Yeah,
like
same.
I want to be like coming up with my guys and things like that. And then it's like, hey, just like small things. Like, hey, if you're not creative, but like you want to put some extra capital towards the business, like those sorts of things, like invest in this or like market, like the things that like I don't necessarily want to do and you have a skill in, like if you want to get brought in on this and like help me out through that way, like fuck yeah. Like let's do that. I've had multiple conversations in the last 2 years of like people wanting to be involved, and I'm like, okay, but like do it then. Do that. Like, let's make moves on this, you know? Yeah. And then it's always like kind of like a 2-week thing, and then something comes up, life comes up, it and then that's completely out the window.
Yeah.
But like for me, it's like, this is my shit. Like this will always be my shit. So it ain't even me fucking bringing this shit up to anyone. It's people coming to me and bringing up the concept or business idea to me about it, saying what they can bring onto the table for me.
Yeah.
So again, this is my shit. This is my business. This is what I want to grow. And I see the growth inside of this opportunity. So I'm going to fucking be persistent on it. I'm like, hey, like when can we chat next to like lock this in? When can we do this? And then when it starts getting to like the no replies or like, oh, I got this and I got that coming up and all that stuff. It's like, bro, I get that stuff, but I don't think, and again, it might just be like a little bit of ignorance because they're not personally attached to my artwork like how I am.
Yeah.
And I know it's always out of the goodness of people's hearts of why they reach out and like try and connect and collaborate on some work and stuff like that. But it's like when you talk this talk and then 2 weeks go by and I reach out and then it's like, hey, I have this coming up. I got this coming up. I got that coming up. And then it kind of becomes a repetitive thing. Then it's like, well, I don't necessarily know if I want to involve you anymore. Like, I understand, like, because I have my own shit too as well. But like, this is something that I can't just say like, yeah, maybe sometime soon.
We'll
like, this
it,
is right. Like, I'm fully like, I'm 100% locked in on my shit all the time.
Yeah.
So when getting like a 25% response when I need that 100 is like, oh.
Yeah.
When is that? Because, because I get my hopes up. I'm like, I see the vision. I'm like, damn, this could be some real fucking dope shit. Like this can be like, this could be a real cool fucking thing if the vision starts to be created and pedal work starts happening. But like that can't happen with just me because I have my shit to worry about. Like I am still learning the business side of my artwork, or as like selling my artwork and marketing my artwork, doing it by myself. And on top of that, creating it in general, producing work, quality work. And that's kind of been my thing right now. It's like, I've been looking to like bring in like someone like a manager and marketing coordinator and stuff like that. But again, those things just like don't work out sometimes, I
will say though,
timing's important too as well.
The universe will kind of help you in a way, because think about it like this. I've dodged a lot of bullets within not just Lonely Cowboy and tattooing, but like just business across the board, where I thought this is what I wanted and I thought this would work, and then it didn't. I'm like, why didn't that work? And then a few months go by and I'm like, whoa, thank God that I dodged that shit, because it would just been horrible.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And, I kind of went through the similar thing very recently.
I remember,
Yeah. So, things do happen for a reason, and it is important to be very understanding and accepting of time.
Yeah.
And that it probably sucked and it was a bit of a letdown, and kind of was like, you start planning towards things and then you're planning towards something that never even saw the launch. You know what I'm saying? Like it never even hit the ground to be able to even fucking run, to even walk. And it's just very early in the stages of the career. So, again, if we're talking long game, like
that's probably
just practice.
Yeah.
It's just practice. Like, again, even if things don't work out, even if, I go to a show and there's 0 sales or something like that, like, thankfully I haven't had that experience yet, but I'm also like prepared when that does happen. It's like, well, at least you showed up, you're there.
Yeah.
And like, it's practice, because if you get out of sync in that and you kind of forget, the pedaling that you do have to do, your awareness goes down for the future of like, oh fuck, like what the fuck happened,
It's just all a learning lesson.
Right.
We let's get into this last question, then we'll wrap it up.
Sure.
From that Krungbin concert we went to, I remember I told you, looking at it, I was like, dude, this concert, this set, these colors, they remind me so much of your art.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
We were on a wave for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
But, dude, that concert was crazy. And that artwork that they were doing with like the fucking
the windows.
The windows. Yeah.
The
dude.
windows and the stairs. Yeah.
Did you do that painting you just did post?
It was it was very inspired by a lot of like Krungbin's work.
Yeah.
And even just like the marketing that they do on social media, like the flyers, the flyer designs that they do for their work and stuff like that. It was kind of like a, I wouldn't say as like homage to them, but it was definitely absolutely inspired by their style of like their work, and how they promote their art and stuff like that.
Their website's nuts.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like it's beautiful. And yeah, I don't know. The color palettes that I do use and stuff like that are always like very inspired to, like, dude, I wear fucking black like every single day, Yeah. But when it comes to like my canvases and stuff like that, it's always colorful because it's in my mind. It's like I know what I want to see it. I know what like brings in the light. Like honestly, every time I do black and white paintings, I'm like, fuck, dude, like this is way too quick. Like this is
that's crazy.
Yeah,
because
right.
I'm the opposite.
Right.
Yeah.
And I admire like people who do like black, white, and gray work because I think it looks fucking sick. But for me, I'm like, dude, I have to like fucking blow this out in color. Like it's really hard like for me to like not like do that.
I think eventually I'll dabble in some color. It also makes me nervous.
Why so?
Because that's just the same way your brain operates, how you want to just blast it with color. To me, I'm like, I love the simplicity of just the black and white. If I put in color, like it's just going to change everything.
Yeah.
So I will eventually just play with it, but I don't know if I don't know. I haven't done it in a long time.
Yeah.
I did a little bit at the studio back in Buffalo, and it just, I didn't love it as much as just the black and white that I've done.
Right. Yeah, which is like no big deal.
Yeah.
Again, like we all have our preferences, and that is why, art is very cool. Because again, like although I don't prefer to make any black and white pieces, I do love black and white pieces, like by other people, or like designs and stuff like that. And, even like clothing and shit like that. It's like, I'd choose to have fucking the darkest colors on and stuff like that. But yeah, interesting shit.
People do love color on clothing.
Yeah.
I saw this shirt at the tattoo convention. It was a black shirt with mostly white and then just a few pops of red or a few pops of pink, which looked dope.
Yeah.
I think I could get into that for Lonely Cowboy, but I just don't know exactly what that would look like. Just a little sprinkle.
I hear you. I don't blame you. And it's a lot of time too as well. I mean, dude, like my creative direction for concepts, like it changes all the time, man. Like there's so many times like where I'm like, oh, like I kind of want to get away from like the pop look.
Yeah.
But then I fucking finish a piece and it's like all pop and I'm like, yeah, this shit, I love this stuff so much. Yeah. Right. Like,
yeah.
So, but yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up.
Sure.
Appreciate you for coming on, BK.
Thanks for having me.
Talks to you next time we do a pod. I'm down to do pods whenever. We kind of last point, you were talking about how your creative juices have been flowing.
Yeah.
I've been microdosing a little bit, and it's kind of like something switched where I'm like, all right, if I want to take this seriously and I want this to be my career, I got to do it all the time.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah. So if you ever want to do this again, let's do it.
All right, bet.
All right. Catch you next time. Peace.